get to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agent success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Revenova, the official TMS provider for the Freight Coach. You guys, I've been a broker for a long time, and the tools that are at your disposal with Revenova help you eliminate bouncing between systems, which improves your accuracy when you are managing multiple tasks throughout your workday. Plus, it's built into the Salesforce cloud, so your CRM is fully integrated with your TMS, eliminating yet another silo. In today's day and age, you are definitely concerned about the safety of your data. With Revenova, it's fully protected. They have cutting-edge security that keeps your information safe so you can focus on what matters most, and that's growing your business. Speaking of growing your business, with Rate and Lane IQ, you get real-time pricing and route recommendations, helping you optimize costs and improve operational efficiencies, which ultimately helps you make smarter decisions. If you are like me and have recurring shipments from non-EDI customers, they have intuitive cloning features that let you easily replicate previous shipments, saving both shipper and carrier rates with just a few taps. If you are ready to learn more, visit www.revenova.com to request a demo. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve. So you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Thursday, everybody. We are live on location here in Scottsdale, Arizona for the TIA Technovations Fall Conference out here. And I got a couple of good friends, Sam and James, to join to just really keep it real on everything. And this is actually Sam's first podcast as well. I just found this out about 3 minutes ago, so we're going to have a really fun go around with all of this out here. So guys, thank you so much for taking a couple of moments here this morning to break this down. So James, this is, you've been on this show, you've been to this show in particular a few times. What were some of your expectations walking in today? There's a lot of hype out there with where tech is right now, but what's that expectation and the big takeaway you're looking for?
Well, I mean, the expectation is you're going to hear a lot about AI.
I've already heard it 75 times.
And it's funny because we were joking, like, if you had a drinking game for every time AI is said, you'd be drunk in the first session. Because, I mean, we say that, but it is an important thing that's going on right now. And so our big takeaway for why we're here is just to make sure that we're not falling behind on any of the technologies that are coming out, because I mean, there's new ones coming out every day.
Yeah.
So making sure that we are keeping up on all the technologies that are there, and then also to make sure that the technologies we have are the best in class, and we don't need to add something to our tech stack or replace something in our tech stack with something that's even better than what we have now.
Yeah. And now, Sam, is that something that working on the customer side of things, and obviously SPI is a user, I'm a user of Revenova. How are you guys kind of staying ahead of this? Are you guys asking your customers about their operations? Like, hey, what are some of those gaps that you guys are noticing of like an improvement that we can make to help you guys more efficient in your day-to-day?
Constantly. That is one thing that my team is doing every single day. So my team, I am the director of customer success. So I run the customer success team. We're a newer team to Revenova. And we are in front of our customers on a regular basis. So, at a minimum on a quarterly, and we're talking with our customers, asking them, what are your initiatives? What are you looking for? What's the product missing? And sometimes it's, the product does that and it's an educational thing, but we're also, what other products are they looking for? So it's becoming that trusted advisor to the customer to where they're coming to you before they're going out and they're signing another contract. So we're absolutely asking those questions all day, every day.
What's some of those things then, Sam, like what more, like as somebody who uses Revenova myself every single day, what's something more that I could do to bring this stuff up to you guys? Because I think a lot of people, we get comfortable in our day-to-day. We don't think about this stuff. And maybe I have an idea, but I'm like, how do I even bring this up to like Revenova with this suggestion? Like, what avenues are you guys looking for from your users from that?
So today we have our request process where you come in and you put in requests that you think are going to be product ideas. And so we take those product ideas and then we fuel that product roadmap. One thing that was a big initiative of mine whenever I came on about a year ago was our customers need a community. They need a place where they can go in and they can help other customers. They can collaborate with each other and they can have a space where, they're asking questions. And so that is something we're in the process right now of onboarding. Is we have a new learning management platform. So we've got the new Revenova Learning Center that we are in the process of implementing. And along with that's going to come a customer community where we're going to be able to have a place where you can put those ideas and make them public. So we're excited about that.
So James, with this, like with where things are, I mean, I could only assume how much you get hit up and the team gets hit up for new products out there and stuff. Just like, how do you guys decipher what's real and what's not? And actually what's applicable? Because I feel like when you're at a time, especially right now, when there is a lot of VC money being pumped into a ton of verticals, I'm not going to say the 2-letter acronym that everybody's thinking about, but there's not a shortage of stuff that comes out. How do you decipher what's real and what's not? But then most importantly, what can actually be deployed inside of your organization to ensure a seamless transition?
I mean, we're getting bombarded. I probably right now, just in the 15 minutes we've been sitting here, I probably have 5 emails from vendors trying to sell me something. Yeah. A lot of those we ignore because it's just noise. A lot of the times it's stuff we'll seek out. We have a need. And so we'll research, we need to improve this process. Is there a tool out there that can improve that process? Or is that something maybe we need to build in-house with our in-house tech team? And I mean, the biggest thing is when you find something, do a demo, see if it's something that's going to fit, ask a lot of questions in the demo. Don't just let them drive it. You need to make sure that you're asking questions because every business is unique and you need to know that it's going to fit your business processes, your people, your operations. And if it's not, move on. If it might, do a pilot project. Don't immediately dive in, because once you sign that contract, there's no going back.
Yeah.
And if you're committing for a year, 18 months, 2 years to something that might not work, that has the potential to hurt your tech stack, because now funds that could have been diverted to something that's actually good are now being eaten up by something you're not even using.
How important is it, because I'm a firm believer, obviously, the TMS is a lifeblood to a freight brokerage. It is, everything has to start and stop with something like that. How are you guys out there when it comes to some of these third-party products that are out there? How are you guys working with Revenova to ensure hey, we've decided on this? Are you bringing this to them? Because there's a long-standing partnership between SPI and Revenova. Do you bring this to them? Do you bring them into the fold early? And this is just more of advice to people out there who don't have a mature tech stack like an SPI Logistics does, because this is one of those things that, I hear personally about a lot is they're to your point about the year-long contract, they're I signed up for this contract and now this doesn't work, this doesn't work, they're not going to integrate with my TMS. So it's like, how do you kind of help clear up a lot of this?
Yeah, well, so we're in kind of a unique instance where we do have a really strong tech team in-house.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of our own integrations. We do see if Revenova has integrations, and if they do, then we'll work with the Revenova product team to see if it fits our needs. But if it doesn't fit our needs, we're plenty capable of just doing the integration ourselves, or helping Revenova with maybe there's certain endpoints or certain data points that aren't being captured that we need, that aren't part of the standard thing. So we see if Revenova can help us out and get it into their integration.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it helps them, it helps us, because while their current user bases maybe don't need those data points, maybe somebody who is more similar to us can use those data points, and it'll improve the product for them.
Yeah. So Sam, like with a lot of that being said, is that something you wish your customers would possibly bring to you guys, where it's like, or are you wanting to be brought into the fold on a lot of this? Because I feel like there's almost a lot of pushback on the freight tech community, because they, like, again, there's a want versus need aspect that comes along with it from a business owner and somebody who's actually footing the bill. Would you openly advocate for your guys' customers, hey, come to us if you guys have questions about this? Because again, as somebody who my entire tech understanding is restarting my computer, right? And it's like, I don't want to get backed into a corner in a situation where it's like, hey, we're your partner, bring us into this stuff. Let us vet these guys in front of you, because I feel like that's a big thing that goes on out there is you guys understand, you guys speak that lingo a lot better than maybe a freight individual does, like myself, where it's like, hey, I can actually help you guys sidestep this, because again, TMS is the lifeblood of your organization. And if you buy third-party products and it's like, hey, actually, no, this isn't going to work, or, you know, we've looked at their stuff, they're not what they are, what they're telling you guys.
No, I mean, I'm not much further along than you, other than restarting the computer. But it's not my job to be on the technical side. But we do have a ton of individuals that are able to speak to those types of things. So yes, I mean, we would love for our customers to come to us first before they go sign a contract, because it has happened a couple of times, even in the last year. They come, they sign a contract, and then it doesn't work the way that they expected it to work. And it's not that it doesn't work fully. It's just the things inside of that third party have to have a place to go within our TMS. And if they're not in there to begin with, then that's even further development, and that can take even longer. And then your customer's upset, and we never, ever want that. So, because we have a ton of customers, you know, like SPI, that have their own internal tech team, and they do all their integrations themselves, or they work with us very closely, but we have a lot that don't.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure and set those expectations in the beginning, because if those expectations aren't set, then someone's going to be unhappy. And I hate for the fingers to be pointed back at us when we could have been brought in early and set those expectations ahead of time.
Yeah, I kind of look at it is, you know, also, are you fully aware, and this is just coming from myself who building a brokerage and building my book of business, am I even fully aware of the full capabilities of the technology that we're already paying for? And I think that that's a miss by people out there. I'm not going to say a lot of people. I know that's a miss from myself at times, where I'm like, I'm already paying for this stuff, but like, hey, this shiny other object sounds great as well. And then you sign up for it and you're like, wait a second, this was here the whole time. So it's like, how do you really get that out there? Like, you know, I guess, James, this is going to be for you. How do you ensure that you guys are fully aware of every capability that your technology providers have at your disposal before you go out and make that decision to sign up for something else?
It really comes down just to the testing of the actual product, and looking, like, every product, it has a sheet that says everything that's in it. Have somebody on your team who actually looks through those things and knows those capabilities inside and out. Like, obviously not everybody's going to have those people. Not everybody's lucky enough to have a tech team who can handle that. Like, if you're a smaller broker and you have a need, ask your provider. Just simply go to the provider and say, hey, I need this. Do you do this? Can you do this? And if not, do you know who can do this? Because they might already have a partnership with somebody who does what you're doing, and they can point you in that direction and say, hey, take a look at XYZ, because it might help you.
Yeah. I think that's, really building that out, because, like, from my perspective, as moving freight every single day, like 95% of my day, like legitimately can be automated. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes on in my day to day where I'm like, I can't wait till there's a piece of technology for that, right? Because it's like, and then especially, there's a lot of comparison to, you see like a company like Robinson that's out there that just did a big AI deployment. They did a big automation push out there. What they've been able to do, reduce their headcount, reduce their overhead, increase their stock price and everything else. And I feel like a lot of other providers out there are like, we need to do this now. We need to rush to that. But again, I feel like as a broker, you got to almost like, I feel like you need to build your tech stack around what are your current shippers asking for, right? Because I think like there's almost a massive fallacy out there that like, no, everything has to be EDI, everything's contracted. Like I think contracted freight is almost in the minority out there from like availability of like what you're going to get at. And then especially if you look at the onboarding of an account, you're not going to get their RFP freight right away, right? Like that's going to come in due time, but it's like, what technology does your customer or like as a broker, your shippers actually require you to have? And I think it almost makes your tech stack maybe look a little bloated at times because you're like, well, wait a second, these guys aren't asking for this. They're not needing this out there. And I think like that's the importance of, I think almost like looking at externally, like what are your shippers asking for? All right, are they even requiring any of this stuff? And it's like, and this is just coming from if you don't have the money to invest in a lot of these tools that are out there.
Well, and I mean, there was a good point brought up in the session this morning where you need to be constantly evaluating your tech stack to see like, I'm paying for all these things. I mean, it's the same thing in just your day-to-day life. You sign up for all the like streaming services and like, so you're paying $9.99 a month for the streaming service. Are you actually watching it? And if not, then why are you paying for it?
Yeah.
So if you're paying for a tool in your tech stack that isn't being used, you need to be able to run a report and find that out and get rid of it because, I mean, tech resources are not infinite.
Yeah.
You have a finite amount of money to spend on tech resources. And so you need to make sure that you're spending it on stuff that's actually providing value to you.
Yeah. And James, that's like one of the, I don't know if you remember this, but like a couple of years ago, we were talking about this exact same thing. And I actually started looking at my P&L from the reverse. I started at the least amount of money a month and worked my way up as like, why are we paying for this? What do we need? And just really assessing a lot of that stuff. Because again, when you're bootstrapping an organization, every dollar counts at the end of the day. And I feel like, you sometimes you look at the big expenses and you're like, why am I paying for this? Well, it's the death by 1,000 cuts analogy that really will bleed you out in the long term. And, so Sam, from your perspective right now, when you guys are building these new tools that are coming along, obviously there's a cost behind everything. Are you guys really balancing that out internally? Like, how do we bring the best product to the market, but also not push a bunch of people away with that sticker shock mentality?
Well, I mean, with the Revenova product, a lot of the things that we are doing is just a feature enhancement.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we obviously there's some new modules that we roll out for our commissions module is fairly new. Some of those other things, I mean, we're trying to make sure that we're talking to a ton of customers whenever we're evaluating these products or these services, anything that we roll out, just to make sure that it's a beneficial or a benefit for all of our customers. I mean, it's just like our AI functionality. You look at it and the pricing for what it is today is, I mean, pennies compared to maybe some of the other ones out there. So we try to avoid the sticker shock if at all possible, and make sure that what we are developing as our TMS and as our features are for the broader sake of our customers.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that internal development, how are you guys even like from a technology perspective, how are you guys assessing what's a fad, what's actually going to get sticky out there in the market? And like, what can we build up and grow up off of? Because I feel like with technology in particular, it's, yesterday's top technology is already irrelevant at that point, right? So like, how are you guys assessing that from a deployment perspective?
That's probably more for the product.
Oh, okay.
But no. I mean, really, a lot of these things, we get approached just as much as you guys do on let's partner with us, let's integrate with us, let's do these types of things. And so we do a very, very big analysis on who these guys are, how long they've been in the market, who their customers are today, how long, just talking with some of them and seeing what they can provide. And then not only that, from our partnership perspective, are you guys easy to work with? Are you going to make this a true partnership and where we can actually work together and we can grow this and we can grow both of our mutual customers' business here? So, I mean, those are just, from my perspective, those are some of the things that we're looking for when we're going out. And then, from a stickiness perspective, I mean, a lot of the things for us on new tech and new things is around AI. And it is, are we building it ourselves, or, we have to take a step back and say, well, we're a TMS provider. We're not a fraud prevention service. It's best, let's partner with these individuals, and because that's what their bread and butter is. That's what they do. So let's make them a key partner with us.
I think like that's got to be something that you guys, I mean, I don't know if you discuss this internally or not, but it's like when you see, even if you just look out over the last 5 years, for example, the amount of cutting edge logos that were going to come in and revitalize the industry. And then you look at it from a resource deployment internally from a TMS. Are you going to be around? Like that's got to be a real conversation, because it's like, are we going to go through the development, connect all those endpoints? I'm just using some keywords you guys were using from a tech perspective here, but like, are you guys going to, is it worth our time to do this? Because are you going to be solvent in 24 months, and that's got to be a thing that you guys are discussing, right? Because like, what's real and what's not?
We are. And I mean, not only that, but the request that I was talking about earlier, we report on those and we capture everything that our customers are requesting. And so anytime someone mentions some specific partner, it gets captured. And so we're saying, all right, we've got 10 customers now that are coming to us with this partner. Maybe we need to go and look into this. And we talk with our customers like, okay, what are your expectations here? What are you trying to get out of this partner? And I mean, we just kind of build from that, because if we only have one customer that's looking at a particular partner, we're going to take a peek at it. Of course, we're going to go talk to them. But if we've got 10 plus that are saying, okay, well, then more than likely there's 20 more that just haven't put that request in. They're still looking at them.
No, for sure. And I think like there's, with the amount of options that are out there now, and I guess James, from your perspective, when you're looking at this, how are you guys bringing that into I guess compared to like the build versus buy standpoint, right? With you guys having an internal tech team on that, are you guys is it more of like, hey, this looks great for now, but is this going to be like, how are you guys assessing like, what do we build, what do we buy, and then what do we kind of roll that out?
I mean, the build versus buy is it's a hard decision to make, because it was like you're saying, like, we're a freight broker. We're not a tech company. We're not a fintech company. So do we want to stretch our capabilities and spend those time and resources on things that maybe we're not, like, maybe it's going to get 60, 70, 80% of the way there. But if we're going to spend just as much time and effort doing that, why don't you just go out and buy it? And going back to speak about your previous point, like, change management is hard. So you need to make sure that if you're going to go to a provider, make sure that, like, ask questions, make sure they're solid, make sure they're going to be around in a couple of years, and involve your operations team, for us to involve your agents to see that, is this a tool that they're actually going to use? Because I mean, us as leaders, we think, hey, this tool is great. But not freight brokers are very set in their ways a lot of the time.
Guilty.
And it's it's very hard to get them to change the way they do things. So get them involved in the process. If you have a cool tool that you think is going to improve their processes, get some of your agents, get some of your operations team on board so that they can become the champions to sell it to the broader operations.
Because like I look at it now, because we've integrated or implemented some new tech inside of our branch ourselves, and for me it was, like, obviously we were very fortunate to grow year over year. We had a lot more volume of freight that we were moving. But what also happens when you're starting out and building it is like new sales falls to the wayside, right? Because it's like, yes, you're doing it, but like, are you really focused on that? Are you tracking that data? And that's one thing for me now that's like very, very important is like, how are we capturing all of this data that's out there? And I think it's like, it's almost meeting the operation where they're at. And then also because like, Yeah, it was a major miss. And, again, there's no playbook to building something from scratch, especially when you go from $0 of revenue, right? Like we never brought a book of business into it and we had existing stuff. Like we've built this up from nothing. And now we notice those gaps that are out there. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, we can automate this at some point. We can automate that at some point. But again, it's like, how do you keep that human element factor involved? And I feel like as much automation push as there is out there, do you guys think that actually that human element is going to be the separator here in the coming years as like what people are going to want to work with? Because I know truckers, right? Like I've been around truckers my entire life. I come from a family of drivers. There will be a burnout very soon of AI dialers talking to drivers. And I think that is going to be the first thing to fall off from an AI standpoint inside of freight are the companies that are solely being AI carrier reps. I think that's going to be the first one to go because I know my dad, trust me, he is not going to want to talk to that on any given moment.
No, I like AI is awesome, but you're never like freight brokerage as a whole is about relationships.
Yes.
It's not about the actual transaction. It's about having a relationship with your shipper, with your customer, and that relationship cannot be automated. Like, yes, you can have touch points here and there that are automated, but in the end, breaking bread with your customer, talking with your customer on the phone, asking them about their day.
Yeah.
AI is not going to ask you about your day. They're not actually, AI doesn't care about the person. AI is set up to do a task.
Yeah.
And automation is awesome, but automation should empower your people.
Yes.
Make them automate away all the mundane tasks.
Yep.
That don't require brain power, but take up time. Because why are your people spending time on things that don't take brain power? That's what AI is for.
Yeah.
Let AI do that so that your people can do revenue generating things rather than mundane tasks that do nothing.
Yeah, and that's where my mindset is with a lot of this, because I do truly feel like 90 to 95% of my day can be automated. It really can. And for me, it's like, that's what makes me be able to compete with the largest logos in the industry, because it's like now we have the exact same tech stack that's out there. Because it's like, if I look it out and pan out on where things are right now, like, again, fundamentally, every freight broker does the exact same thing. I don't care what any of them say. We are all offering the exact same service. And now with where technology is, we all have, it's a level playing field at this point. I think this next market shift that is going to happen is going to expose a lot of people, but I feel like it's going to open up a lot of doors for those small organizations who have deployed tech in the right way, where you're going to be able to compete with the largest logos out there. And then again, you're going to be able to stay lean. But again, I think ultimately when it boils down to it, A players are going to succeed no matter what. Out there, the ones who know how to leverage tech with that personal skills that are out there, if you can have a conversation, I think that's the most alarming thing that I see out there is people's inability to properly articulate what they're trying to say. Because when you are so digital all the time, you kind of forget how to speak. Yes. And I think that is where I think that's going to be the biggest competitive advantage moving forward, is your ability to walk in and shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye and hold a conversation with them. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you're spot on. You are 100% spot on. I
didn't pay her to say that, I promise.
Yeah, I was also born into an asset base. I mean, I always say, I've been in logistics my entire life. My dad owned a trucking company. Yeah. So, I mean, I know exactly where you're coming from the relationship standpoint, from all of the things. So, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I mean, even today, my team came on board again a year and a half ago. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
And I mean, it's one of those things that there was no customer success department within Revenova before this. And even our customers today, they want us to be in front of them. They want us to come and say, and walk into their building and meet their people and shake their hand. And that element is still, especially in this industry, it's going to be here. It's going to continue to be here.
No, and it is. It's like, no matter what, it's still, whether it's a blue collar industry, and I've been around it, and I think a lot of the companies that are out here in this industry, a lot of small town businesses out there, right? Not everybody's in a major metropolitan area, and not everybody's going to buy in to that. I'm not going to call it hype, but not everybody's going to buy into that, because there's still, again, if you pan out to the shippers and the manufacturers that are out there, a lot of them aren't requiring any of this stuff. So it's like there's still going to be an opportunity for those small mom and pop organizations to make it in freight. I'm convinced of that. Like there's a reason why the paradigm hasn't shifted to 5. It's not a monopoly for a reason. You know, like you can be a 5-person operation out there, do $20-30 million a year or 10 million a year, whatever that is, or own a 5-truck operation. That's actually the majority of the providers that are out there. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And then again, if you scale back even further from the contracted freight, the RFPs that I was alluding to earlier, there's only so much of that business that's available out there. And then again, James, you're a CFO, you know this. There's a certain financial aspect that comes along with it where it's like, if you're going to work with these large companies, you better have multi-7 figures a month to extend them in credit, because that is a major component that comes in. But where you're not going to see that is at that small to mid-sized level, those family-owned companies where it's the 3rd generation metal manufacturing company in rural Kansas. They're not going to expect that. You know, and that's where a lot of these things are. So again, it's like, I guess as we're wrapping up here, as great as technology is and being on the cutting edge of that, I feel like your ability just to operate in where your customers are and like where the industry is, I think like that's just going to be a competitive advantage moving forward.
No, I would 100% agree with that.
100%. Like in the end, just be like you said, being able to talk to somebody is the most invaluable skill you can get, and that sadly it is a skill that is being lost. And like you said, the people who can do it, those are the people who are going to succeed in the future.
Yeah.
And automate the rest of the business.
Yeah. You can't automate your ability to speak, but you guys, thank you so much for your time this morning. I appreciate it. That is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back tomorrow. We got another special guest. We're going to be going live a little bit earlier because like I always say, you guys, my guests have day jobs and they're here to work. So we're going to always accommodate that schedule. As always, you guys, if you got value in what you heard and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show. And if you're feeling ambitious, rank it on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.